Well, hello. It's Mrs. Duncan, your Humanities 101 online instructor, and I'm going to go over your art essay looking at Blackboard with you, kind of making sure that you understand what you have to do for your first written essay assignment. I'm doing a webcam option with the screencast video, so just by adding that. And I've got my headset on because I'm at work in the office and there are people giving presentations down the hall, and I wanted to make sure you could hear. So here we are in Unit 5, and our to-do list is a little bit thinner than usual because of that. You do have a chapter, a reading chapter, being a critic of the arts, and that is really to help you with the art essay assignment and some of your discussions. So you want to make sure you read that, because when you are writing about an art response, you are in a sense being a critic, and sometimes we just tend to critique something on whether we just like it or not, and that by itself is not what we're looking for here. I do want you to tell me whether you like it or not, but I want you to have a little more expanded idea of what it means to be a critic of the arts. There are some assigned videos that you need to see. This would be one of them. There's a blog post instead of a discussion board. That's different in that you don't have to reply and read back and check back in. You could just do it one time. It's like a homework assignment. You answer the questions that are related to that, post it, I'll see it, and give it a grade. Of course, you do want to read the instructions even if you watch the video, but make sure you have those. And then you need to complete and submit the art essay assignment. So a little bit thinned down, there's no quiz. The only other assignment that you turn in this week is the blog post. And so so there's your reading. I really don't want to go over that part. The other videos are related to the essay and which has to be formatted in MLA, and you may or may not have ever done that before. You make sure that you watch those to do them correctly. So I just want to take you to the art essay. We may look at the blog post briefly. It comes out of your book, one of those sections, but it's actually from another chapter, but it deals with art. So that is our blog assignment. It tells you where it is, page 10. You have to read that section, and there are 5 questions listed there, but you only have to select and answer 2 of them. Make sure it's really clear which ones you are responding to by numbering it. Respond in full sentences, grammatical sentences. And your blog entry needs to have some depth. It can't just be a couple of sentences. So I'm looking for generally 75 to 100 words. It could be a little bit longer, but it definitely needs to have a thoughtful response, in order to get your credit there. Okay, when I do an essay, we've got 2 of them plus a project at the end. You're going to have written out instructions and a link to the assignment Dropbox. But let's look at the instructions first. So I'm going to click on that like you would, and whether your open up box might appear at the top, in the particular computer or my laptop I'm in, it has it down here. So somewhere your computer is going to ask you for permission to open up the document, and you can choose just to save it, to it if you want to. Okay, that's not really the view I prefer, but okay, here we go. Let's start with the description. The art response essay will be the student's original. That means you wrote it. You didn't borrow it from anywhere else. You didn't copy from anywhere else. Your response, and there's the ballpark length of one on it, 350 to 500 words, to one of the following perception key assignments in our textbook. Now, I told you at the beginning, you've got to have the textbook to pass this class, because your assignments are from the textbook. And here's our first essay assignment. So the perception keys you can use, let me jump down here to those, is either from this page, it's called composition. You discuss 2 paintings. It's on page 79, and there are 8 questions. Now, some of these ask you to answer 5 or 2 or more. That really has to do with the balance of how in depth, your answers, the types of questions they are. The one on composition, they're very simple, short, kind of not very thoughtful, more observation. So you have to answer more of those. The questions on public sculptures are require, actually I think is you have to go and observe a sculpture. There's more involved. So I try to balance it out so that even though the number of questions might not be the same, the overall task is the same. So you've got 5 to choose from. You pick which one, and your art response is an essay, and that's the thing to do. It's not just the answers to the question. I would suggest that you write out your answers to the question and then figure out how to organize that into paragraphs. Remember that your essay must be typed in MLA formats. Go back to those tutorials to make sure that you know how to do that correctly, and just to make sure you have an idea of what MLA heading format looks like. It has a heading on the first page, page numbers, a title, it's double spaced, and it's written in or typed in 12-point Times New Roman. It has to be in a Microsoft Word document. Those things were discussed with you at the beginning and the start here, the type of software you have to have, and submitted to Blackboard by the due date. So here's the step-by-step. You select the perception key. You go look at them in your book. You go, oh yeah, I think I understand this one best. Then they always refer to specific art pieces that are in the chapter. So you look at those, you look at the questions, you study the art pieces, and then like draft out your responses and use those questions and answers as your own prompts, and write out detailed responses to the appropriate questions in sentences that are structured in an MLA formatted essay. I'm looking for this to be organized in at least 3 paragraphs. It's not a question 1 answered question 2. You'll get a lot of points off because that's not an essay. Okay, so try to group it into 3 paragraphs. Somewhere in there you've got to start the essay by identifying which perception key and what artwork you studied for it, that was assigned for it. You got to tell me that, and kind of the overall gist of what the focus of that perception key was, what you were mostly looking at for for that assignment. You're not allowed to use any outside sources to write your answers. These are all based on your own thoughts, opinions, and observations. I really doubt you'd find much on the web about it anyway, but if you look at the questions, they're really about, well, what do you see? What do you observe? What does this make you think about? So it's totally and completely got to be your own response. It can't be information about them anywhere else. So there we go. The first paragraph must state the perception key, name the specific pieces of art, use correct grammar, check it carefully, and then in the conclusion you may include personal comments like what you liked or disliked about it, but your essay grade will be based on your overall response to the perception key. There will be a rubric posted in here, so check on that. But let's go back. Let's see if we can go back to there we go, to Blackboard. So when you click on this link, you've got it already, and you see that, and this is also under essay assignments. Okay, let's be a little slow here. Alright, it tells you that this is going to be checked for plagiarism. This is where you submit your art essay, and most assignments you have to click on the title. This one's different. You have to come down here and click View Complete. Now it won't work for me as an instructor, but when you click on it, it'll open up and it'll have, just like on other assignments and even like the discussion board, if you've never done anything like this, there's also a video on how to submit assignments. But you need to take the attach option, okay, instead of, and it says that as an attachment. So you do this on the computer that you have typed up and saved the essay so that you can access it there, and you browse your computer, find it, and put it in, and you will get a screen that says that it is in there, it's submitted. Also, when you look at your grades, you'll see a green exclamation point for anything you've submitted. If you haven't noticed this already, anything you've submitted that's just sitting there waiting to be graded. And speaking of that, essays take a little bit longer time, whereas I'm trying to get the other things done. So from the due date, which is always a Sunday night, give me a week. It could be up to 2. I'll try to get it, I'll try to be closer to that 1, but 1 to 2 weeks on a major grade like this. Okay. All right. I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to go back I'm just going over the art essay with this, though you do have the blog assignment. And as always, if there's a question about the instructions after listening to the video, looking through, reading, and making that attempt, send me an email. But again, don't wait till when it's due, because I'm not usually available by email late in the weekend. So look at this early and ask me questions early in the week, and hopefully that will take care of all of your questions for that.